Most people think power is loud. They think it comes from threats, arguments, dominance, or proving a point. But the truth is far colder and far more unsettling. The people who talk the most about power usually have none. Real power is quiet. It doesn't chase validation. It doesn't react on impulse, and it never explains itself to enemies. If you've ever been tested, disrespected, or subtly attacked, you already know this feeling, the moment someone is trying to pull you into their emotional game. They want a reaction. They want noise. They want control. Stoicism teaches the opposite. The most dangerous person in the room is the one who stays calm, says nothing, and remains unmoved. Not because they are weak, but because they are disciplined. Today, you'll learn how to make your enemies fear you without raising your voice. Without threats and without a single unnecessary word. Not through aggression, through silence, emotional mastery, and unshakable presence. Stay with me. This will change how people treat you. Part 1. Silence is not weakness. It's dominance. From a young age, you were taught something dangerous, that if you don't speak up, you'll be overlooked. If you don't defend yourself, you'll be crushed. If you stay quiet, people will think you are weak. So when someone disrespects you, your body tightens. Your mind races. You feel the urge to explain, to correct, to prove, to fight back with words. But here is the painful truth most people never face. The moment you react emotionally, you give away your power. Your enemies are not afraid of your anger. They are not afraid of your explanations. They are not afraid of your long messages, your raised voice, or your clever arguments. They expect those things, because reaction means predictability, and predictability means control. Stoicism teaches a harder path, one that feels uncomfortable at first, even humiliating. The path of silence. Not the silence of fear, not the silence of submission, but the silence of someone who refuses to be pulled into a game they did not choose. Think about it. Every manipulator, every insecure rival, every subtle enemy feeds on one thing: your emotional response. When you react, they feel powerful. When you defend yourself, they feel important. When you get angry, they know they touched a nerve. But when you don't react, something shifts. Your silence forces them to sit alone with their own behavior. No mirror, no feedback, no reward. And that is deeply unsettling. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you always have the power to withdraw into yourself. Not physically, but mentally. When you choose silence, and you are not retreating, you are reclaiming command over your inner world. This is where most people fail. Silence feels risky. It feels like you're losing. It feels like you're letting them win. But that feeling comes from ego, not wisdom. The ego wants to be seen as right. Stoicism wants you to be unmovable. Imagine this. Someone insults you in a meeting. They throw a passive-aggressive comment meant to provoke you. Everyone waits for your response, and instead of snapping back, you pause, you breathe, you say nothing, no defense, no counterattack. Just a calm presence. In that moment, something powerful happens. The attention shifts away from you and onto them. They become exposed, they become awkward, they feel the weight of their own words echoing in the silence. Because silence amplifies truth. And people fear silence not because it is empty, but because it gives them nowhere to hide. Your enemies begin to realize something terrifying. They cannot read you. They cannot predict you. They cannot control your emotions, and control is what they crave most. This is why silence is dominance. It tells the world, I decide what deserves my energy. I am not reactive. I am not easily shaken. You don't need to announce your strength. You don't need to prove your worth. Your restraint speaks louder than any argument ever could. And yes, silence will cost you at first. Some people will call you cold. Others will test you harder. A few will mistake your calm for weakness. Let them, because those who mistake silence for weakness always reveal their fear eventually. And remember this line and carry it with you. The one who controls his reaction controls the room. This is not about winning arguments. It's about ending the war before it reaches your mind. In the next part, you'll learn why explaining yourself to enemies is one of the fastest ways to lose respect, and how disciplined restraint makes them back away without a single threat. Part 2. Never explain yourself to people who want you. Small, there is a specific kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from work, effort, or struggle. It comes from explaining yourself to people who already decided not to understand you. You know this pain. You explain your decision, and they twist it. You clarify your intention, and they doubt it. You justify your boundary, and they push harder. And every time you explain, you feel a little smaller. Here is the brutal truth Stoicism forces you to confront. People who want to control you always ask for explanations. Not because they care, but because explanations put you on trial. The moment you explain yourself, you step into their courtroom. They become the judge. You become the defendant. Your tone is questioned. Your motives are dissected. Your character is subtly attacked. And no matter how reasonable, calm, or logical you sound, you never actually win. Because the goal was never understood. The goal was dominance. This is where most people break. They think, if I just explain it better, they'll respect me. But respect does not come from explanation. Respect comes from certainty. Stoicism teaches that you are not required to narrate your life to people who benefit from doubting you. Epictetus warned against this trap when he said that if you want to improve, you must be content to appear foolish or misunderstood in the eyes of others. Not because you are wrong, but because your worth is not decided by their approval. Think about how this plays out in real life. You change direction in your career. You step away from a toxic relationship. You stop tolerating disrespect. And suddenly, the questions flood in. Why would you do that? Don't you think that's selfish? Are you sure you're not overreacting? These are not innocent questions. They're attempts to pull you back into a version of yourself that is easier to control. When you explain, you signal uncertainty. When you justify, you signal doubt. When you over-communicate, you invite negotiation. And enemies love negotiation, because negotiation means leverage. Silence, on the other hand, shuts the door completely. A short response. A calm refusal. Or no response at all. This doesn't mean you become rude. It means you become decisive. There is a quiet power in saying, "This is my decision," and stopping there. No paragraph, no defense, no emotional leak. At first, this feels terrifying. Your mind screams, "They'll think I'm wrong. They'll judge me. They'll misunderstand me." Let them. Stoicism reminds us that being misunderstood is a small price to pay for self-command. Here is what happens when you stop explaining yourself. Your enemies lose access to your inner world. They can no longer poke holes in your reasoning. They can no longer twist your words. Worse for them, they can't predict you. And unpredictability makes insecure people deeply uncomfortable. They begin to feel something they hate: uncertainty. Your calm refusal to explain tells them, "You do not get to audit my choices. You do not get emotional access. You do not get leverage." This is where fear begins. Not the loud kind, the quiet kind, the kind that whispers, "I can't move this person." And yes, some people will escalate. They'll accuse you of being cold, arrogant, detached. That is the last weapon of someone who has lost control. Remember this: you don't explain yourself to enemies, you explain yourself to equals. If someone consistently questions your worth, your choices, or your boundaries, They are not seeking clarity. They are seeking compliance. Stoicism does not ask you to be liked. It asks you to be free. And freedom begins the moment you stop handing out explanations like apologies. Carry this line with you. Explanation is submission disguised as politeness. In the next part, you'll learn why emotional control terrifies enemies more than any threat ever could, and how your calm becomes a form of psychological warfare without a single word spoken. Part 3. Emotional control is psychological warfare. There is a moment every enemy waits for. It's subtle, almost invisible. The moment your face tightens, your voice changes, your breathing shifts. That moment tells them everything. It tells them they touched something inside you. It tells them they matter. It tells them they have influence. And influence is power. Most people don't realize this, but emotional reactions are invitations. Invitations to be tested again. Invitations to be pushed further. Invitations to lose control one more time. You've felt this pain before. Someone makes a comment that feels unnecessary, a joke that cuts a little too close, a dismissal disguised as honesty. You tell yourself to ignore it, but your body reacts before your mind catches up. Your chest tightens, your jaw clenches. You want to respond immediately, to correct the imbalance. That impulse is human, but Stoicism asks you to see what others refuse to see. The moment you lose emotional control, you hand the steering wheel to someone else. Your enemy doesn't need to defeat you physically. They don't need to overpower you. They only need to make you react. Because reaction turns you into a mirror, reflecting their chaos back at yourself. Stoics understood this centuries ago. They knew that emotions are not commands. They are signals. Anger is a signal. Fear is a signal. Humiliation is a signal. But a signal does not mean action. When you act from emotion, you shrink your world down to the size of the moment. You stop thinking long-term. You stop seeing patterns. You stop seeing traps. And enemies love short-sightedness. Now here is the part most people struggle to accept. Your calm is more threatening than your anger. Anger feels familiar. Anger feels manageable. They know how to provoke it. They know how to escalate it. But calm? Calm creates uncertainty. When someone insults you and you remain composed, their mind starts racing. Did I go too far? Did it not work? What are they thinking right now? Silence paired with emotional control creates a vacuum, and insecure people panic in vacuums. This is why Stoic calm feels unsettling. It removes the emotional feedback loop. No fuel, no fire, no reward. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the best revenge is not to be like the person who wronged you. Not because revenge is wrong, but because imitation is weakness. When you stay calm, you deny your enemy the satisfaction of seeing you disturbed, and you deny them proof of their impact, and that denial cuts deeper than any insult ever could. But let's be honest, emotional control is not easy. It feels unnatural at first. It feels like swallowing something sharp. Your mind will scream, "Say something." Your ego will whisper, "Don't let this slide." Stoicism doesn't ask you to suppress emotions. It asks you to delay action. Pause, breathe, observe. That pause is everything. In that space, you regain choice. You move from reaction to intention, and intention is power. Picture this. Someone tries to humiliate you publicly. They expect a defensive response, or an angry one. Instead, you look at them calmly. You respond slowly, or not at all. Your posture stays relaxed. Your tone stays even. The room feels it. Not because you dominated verbally, but because you didn't flinch. Your emotional discipline becomes a silent message. You cannot move me. And that message spreads faster than words. People begin to hesitate before testing you. Not because you are aggressive, but because you are unreadable. This is psychological warfare without cruelty, without threats, without noise, just restraint. Remember this truth. Your calm makes unstable people uncomfortable. They rely on emotional chaos to feel powerful. When you refuse to participate, their illusion collapses. In the next part, you'll learn why consistency terrifies manipulators, and how being unshakable over time turns silence into reputation, and reputation into quiet authority. Part 4. Consistency terrifies manipulators. There is something manipulators fear more than confrontation, more than aggression, more than exposure. They fear consistency. Not loud consistency, not performative consistency, but the quiet kind, the kind that doesn't announce itself, doesn't explain, and doesn't bend. You've encountered this dynamic before. At first, they test you gently, a small boundary violation, a subtle joke, a casual dismissal. They watch closely. Do you react? Do you explain? Do you adjust yourself to keep the peace? If you do, they learn something important. You are flexible under pressure. And flexibility to the wrong person looks like permission. Stoicism teaches a different form of strength, one that feels boring on the surface, but is devastating in effect. You respond the same way every time. Calm, unmeasured, unmoved. No emotional spikes, no sudden softness, no dramatic shifts. This is what breaks manipulative people. Because manipulators rely on patterns of inconsistency. They escalate when they sense weakness. They retreat when they sense resistance. They push again when they think you've softened. But when you are consistent, their strategy collapses. They can't map you. One day you don't react, the next day you don't react. Weeks pass, and you are still the same. No emotional access, no explanation, no visible cracks. And slowly, something uncomfortable settles in their mind. This person cannot be moved. Consistency removes hope. Hope that you'll snap, hope that you'll explain, hope that you'll return to the version of yourself they could influence. That loss of hope is where fear begins. Think about how exhausting it is to live with inconsistency. One day you tolerate something. The next day you resent it. One moment you stay silent. The next moment you explode. That inner chaos doesn't just hurt you. It teaches others that your boundaries are negotiable. Stoicism replaces chaos with character. Not moods, not reactions. Character. Epictetus taught that if you want to improve, you must be content with being seen as stubborn, uncooperative, or cold. Because consistency will always offend those who benefit from your confusion. This is why manipulators attack consistency so aggressively. They'll say you've changed, that you're different now, that you're harder to deal with. What they really mean is this: you are no longer predictable in a way that benefits me, and that terrifies them. The consistency sends a powerful, silent signal. This is who I am, regardless of pressure. You don't need to correct lies. You don't need to defend your reputation. You don't need to react to provocation. You simply continue. The same tone, the same pace, the same refusal to be dragged into emotional chaos. Over time, people stop trying. Not because you scared them loudly, but because you exhausted their strategies. And yes, there will be a phase where things intensify. When manipulators realize their old tactics no longer work, they often escalate. Sharper words, stronger guilt, public pressure. This is the moment most people crack. They mistake escalation for failure. But Stoicism teaches the opposite. Escalation is proof that your consistency is working. They are pressing harder because they are losing control. And if you hold steady through this phase, truly steady, something remarkable happens. They withdraw, not always dramatically, sometimes quietly, sometimes resentfully, but they withdraw. Because consistency makes manipulation inefficient, and manipulators hate inefficiency. Remember this: unpredictable people are easy to manipulate. Consistent people are impossible to move. You don't need to threaten, you don't need to explain, you don't need to dominate. You only need to be the same person, again and again, no matter who is watching. In the next part, you'll learn why emotional detachment is the ultimate power move, and how the ability to walk away without drama makes enemies lose interest, leverage, and fearfully reassess their position around you. Part 5. Detachment is the ultimate power move. There is a quiet moment that changes everything. The moment you realize you don't need to win. Not the argument, not the approval, not the last word. You've spent years being pulled into battles you never chose. Trying to be understood, trying to be respected, trying to make people see your value. And the more you tried, the more drained you felt. That exhaustion is not a weakness. It's a signal that you were emotionally invested in people who gained power from your attachment. Stoicism teaches a truth that feels almost brutal at first. The person who needs the outcome least controls the situation most. Detachment is not indifference. It is not cold. It is not giving up. Detachment is freedom from emotional dependency. Enemies sense attachment immediately. They sense when you need to be liked, when you need to be validated, when you need the relationship, the position, the conversation. That need becomes leverage. They can threaten it, withhold it, use it to bend you. This is why detachment terrifies people who rely on control. When you stop chasing outcomes, their tools stop working. Think about how often you stayed silent, not out of strength, but out of fear of losing connection. How often you explained yourself because you didn't want to be misunderstood. How often you tolerated disrespect because walking away felt too costly. Stoicism asks a hard question. What is the cost of staying? Staying in conversations that drain you. Staying in dynamics that shrink you. Staying in roles that demand constant emotional payment. Detachment begins the moment you accept that not every relationship deserves access to you. When you can walk away, calmly, without drama, you become untouchable. Not because you threaten loss, but because you no longer fear it. This is where enemies begin to feel uneasy. They notice your emotional distance, your lack of urgency, your refusal to chase clarity or closure. They realize something fundamental has changed. They no longer occupy your inner world. And that is devastating to anyone who built power on your attention. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that you always have the option not to be harmed, and that it is your judgment, not the event, that creates suffering. Detachment is the practice of withdrawing judgment. You stop labeling every interaction as a threat. You stop assigning meaning to every comment. So you stop reacting as if everything matters equally. Because it doesn't. When you detach, you move differently. You speak less. You observe more. You choose carefully. And when necessary, you leave. No announcement, no explanation, no bitterness, just absence. Absence is powerful because it removes access, and access is what enemies crave most. They don't fear confrontation, they fear irrelevance. The moment you no longer need to win, convince, or defend, the dynamic collapses. They are left standing alone with their tactics while you walk forward untouched. Remember this: the one who can walk away without emotional weight has already won. Detachment is not retreat. It is a strategic distance. In the next part, you'll learn how silence combined with action builds a reputation that speaks louder than words, and why letting results replace explanations makes enemies stop watching and start worrying. Part 6. Let your actions replace your reputation. There is a deep, quiet pain that comes from being misunderstood. From knowing your intentions were good, Your efforts are real. Yet your name is still questioned. You feel it when people talk behind your back, when your silence is mistaken for guilt, when your refusal to defend yourself is interpreted as weakness, and every instinct in you wants to fix it, to explain, to correct the story, to protect your image. Stoicism asks you to do something far more difficult. Let go of your reputation. Not because it doesn't matter, but because chasing it gives power to the wrong people. Your enemies live in words. They survive on narratives, rumors, and half-truths. They want you trapped in reaction mode, constantly responding, constantly cleaning up. But words are fragile. They collapse under time and consistency. Actions do not. When you stop defending your reputation, you force people to confront something uncomfortable. Reality. Not the story. Not the rumor. The pattern. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the best way to avenge yourself is to be unlike the one who wronged you. He understood that arguing with noise only creates more noise. Silence paired with action does something powerful. It creates contrast. While others talk, you build. While others explain, you execute. While others react, you remain steady. At first, this feels unbearable. Your name is being discussed. Your intentions are misrepresented. Your silence feels like surrender. But this is the test. Most people break here. They rush back into the arena, swinging words like weapons, hoping to regain control. But control never comes from chasing perception. It comes from creating undeniable evidence, day after day, decision after decision. Quiet progress terrifies enemies because it removes their narrative leverage. They can't argue with the results. They can't twist consistency. They can't discredit what is visible. And slowly, something shifts. People stop asking, "What happened?" They start noticing, "What's happening now?" Your actions speak in a language rumors cannot translate. There is a particular kind of fear that settles in when someone realizes they misjudged you and you never bothered to correct them. Because that silence suggests confidence. It suggests you never needed their approval to begin with. This is why Stoics focus on conduct, not image. Image is external. Conduct is internal. And only one of those is under your control. When you choose action over explanation, you reclaim energy you didn't realize you were bleeding. No more late-night rehearsals in your head. No more defending conversations that never happened. No more emotional debt. Just forward movement. And yes, some people will never change their story. Let them. Stoicism doesn't promise universal respect. It promises inner alignment. And inner alignment creates something far more powerful than popularity. Presence. Over time, your consistency creates a new reputation. One you never had to advertise. The reputation of someone who doesn't chase validation. Someone who doesn't react to provocation. Someone whose silence is backed by results. That reputation spreads quietly. Not through words, but through observation. People begin to lower their voice around you. They hesitate before questioning you. They think twice before testing you. Not because you demanded respect, but because your actions made disrespect inefficient. Remember this: silence plus results is intimidating. You don't need to correct every lie. You don't need to fix every misunderstanding. Time is your ally when your actions are aligned. In the final part, you'll learn what happens when you completely stop reacting. Why enemies panic, escalate, and eventually retreat when they realize their access to you is gone forever. Part 7. When you stop reacting, they panic. There comes a moment when everything changes. Not loudly, not dramatically, but unmistakably. It's the moment you stop reacting. Not because you're tired, not because you've given up, but because you finally understand the game. This is the moment enemies fear most. Up until now, they relied on patterns. They knew how to provoke you, They knew which words worked. They knew which buttons to press. Your reactions were their roadmap. But suddenly, the map stops working. You don't respond the way you used to. You don't explain. You don't defend. You don't escalate. You simply don't engage. And that's when panic sets in. Because when someone loses access to your emotions, they lose leverage. At first, they test it harder. They repeat the same behavior, louder this time. Sharper words, through stronger accusations, public pressure. This phase confuses many people. They think, if things are getting worse, I must be doing something wrong. Stoicism teaches the opposite. Escalation is not failure. Escalation is proof that your silence is working. Your enemy is not becoming bolder. They are becoming desperate. They are trying to recreate the old dynamic where you reacted, explained, or collapsed under pressure, but you don't, and that unsettles them. You see, manipulators depend on emotional feedback. They need confirmation that they still matter, that they still have influence, that they can still move you. When you stop reacting, they are forced to confront something terrifying. They are no longer relevant. This is why the behavior often becomes irrational. They may accuse you of being cold, arrogant, heartless, and they may try to provoke guilt or shame or nostalgia, anything to pull you back into emotional contact. But every time you remain calm, you send a silent message. You don't have access anymore. And access is everything. This phase hurts deeply because you will be misunderstood. Your silence will be misinterpreted. Some people will believe the worst about you. Stoicism does not deny this pain. It simply asks you to choose long-term freedom over short-term comfort. Reacting would feel good in the moment. Explaining would feel relieving. Defending yourself would feel fair. But each of those choices reopens the door you worked so hard to close. When you hold your ground, something remarkable happens over time. The attacks lose intensity. The tests become weaker. The provocations slow down. Because without reaction, there is no reward. And eventually, they retreat. Not always with an apology. Not always with accountability. Sometimes with silence. Sometimes with bitterness. But they retreat. Because engaging with someone who cannot be moved is exhausting. And manipulators hate exhaustion. They look for easier targets. People who react, people who explain, people who still need validation. You are no longer one of them. Remember this truth. When chaos increases, it often means control is slipping. Your stillness forces others to reveal their instability. Your silence exposes their desperation. Your restraint turns their tactics against them. You don't need to win loudly. You don't need to dominate. You simply need to remain unreachable. And in doing so, you reclaim something far more valuable than victory. Your inner peace, your clarity, igniting your self-command. This is the final Stoic lesson. Fear is born when others realize they can no longer control you. Not because you threatened them, not because you fought back, but because you stopped playing altogether. And that, without a single word, is power. What you've learned today is not about intimidation, threats, or dominance in the way the world usually defines power. It's about something far more rare: self-command. You don't make enemies fear you by raising your voice. You do it by controlling your reactions, by refusing to explain yourself to those who want you small, by staying consistent when others try to shake you, by detaching from outcomes that once controlled you, and by letting your actions speak where words only create noise. The core Stoic truth is simple, but difficult to live by. The moment others can no longer control your emotions, they lose power over you. This is not an overnight transformation. It's a daily practice. So here is your challenge. The next time you feel provoked, pause. The next time you want to explain, stop. The next time you feel pulled into emotional chaos, choose silence and clarity instead. Not to punish others, but to protect your inner world. If this message resonated with you, take a moment to reflect on where you've been giving away your power without realizing it. Awareness is the first step toward discipline. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found value in this, like the video, subscribe for more Stoic motivation and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay calm, stay disciplined, and stay unshaken.